Joe D, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm not 100%. I got whatever got going congested in my face, whatever. But you know what? I got not one, but I got 2 cups of coffee, right? And I got my mango Pepsi, so I'm ready. I'm ready. I got some liquids in me. I'm ready to roll.
We got some people watching already. So, listen, man, in the interest of trying to stay positive, because I was told all I do is complain, let's just go through the matches. And FYI, ladies and gentlemen, I stayed home a whole extra day from a conference just to get this show in, I'll have you know. I'm leaving immediately after and heading to Winnipeg for a municipal politicians conference.
Well, I like how Jay Clean in the comments already said we're gonna have to call in to work. Um, well, Jay, I will say this: I don't have to work till 2 in the afternoon, so I think I'll be all right for now.
I don't really have to do anything today, so we can we can do whatever, man. But let's go right from the top. Let's go. Sounds like Ryan. What are you talking about, man? Let's go right to the matches.
Okay, I got the results right here and in order because I went ahead and rewatched it one more time just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But Zurab versus Ryan Bowen, that was the first match on the card. And honestly, I thought I was hoping Ryan would do a little something. I thought he had some momentum going into the match. Originally, I thought he had bit off more than he can chew, but at the same time, being that he had the match with Arm Wars, clean sweep, right? And then he had the college match at King of the Table. I'm thinking, okay, he has momentum, not a problem. Ryan will probably get a few matches going on, and I'm trying to figure out. I thought we both thought Zurab would win 3-2.
That was generous. I got to be honest. I think, uh, he did actually manage to compromise Zurab's hand and wrist. As Jay said, looked better outside the straps. When it went into the strap, and Jay, I disagree with you on this being the biggest mismatch on the card. And you know who I'm going to say, but we'll talk about that one later. And it was a shocker.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Bowen looked big. Let's be honest, man. He came in looking beefy. Like he put in the work, and I don't think he looked terrible against Zurab. I think he did okay. He pulled his hand and wrist open, and he had to get strapped to handle Bowen. So I mean, it is what it is. But once that wrist was locked up in the strap, it was all Zurab with that big power.
Yeah. You know, and again, and maybe Ryan could take a step back and go, okay, hopefully everybody, because there's a few people I can count on one hand that people need to go back and review the tape and go, okay, where did I mess up at? What holes do I need to, plug in to make sure I make sure I'm good, And nothing against Ryan. You got to kind of go out there in the limb and test yourself. So I'm glad he did it. Hopefully next time around, if he gets the call, we don't know where he's going to show up because he's done the Arm Wars. He's done East versus West. He's done the King of Tables. So we don't know where. I mean, I know where he's going next, and I'll have to tell you off the air, Ryan. So,
Oh, secrets.
oh yeah,
However, that all that said, I mean, good on him. No real shocker in that match. Um, I loved how Gary Goodrich kept calling him the Australian or whatever he was saying.
I will say this from a production standpoint. I like how you had the 4 guys who did the play-by-play. You had Ryan, Gary Goodrich, Coach Ray, kind of altered, and did they took turns doing some of the matches. And I like that.
Yeah, Jay, thanks for clarifying. Going into the event, you thought it was the biggest mismatch. I think we all probably agreed with that uh, at the time. So,
There
anyway,
was
Zurab takes
quite a
it.
few 3-0 matches, but that for some reason, that particular 3-0 match with Bowen looked a lot closer than the other 3-0 matches.
Yeah. So, who do we got next? Because we got a lot of matches to cover here.
Georgie versus Sergey. Georgie at 132. I know there's supposed to be an East versus West thing, and this is one of those matches where, and I had talked to you over the weekend, I was like, it's East versus East, and it kind of didn't. It was a good match, don't get me wrong, but it didn't spark my attention. So I had the guys over. We train every Saturday morning. So when that match came up, we're kind of watching it. Okay, back to training, watching it, back to training. So I apologize if I didn't put my whole heart and soul into that match. I apologize.
Yeah, well, the interesting part, like I expected that match to, it turned out to be an amazing match because you got the young guy coming in there and just dominating for 2 matches, and then Sergey.
Georgie came out 1-3 straight.
Yeah, Georgie came back and then found something and won 3 straight. And you can kind of see it, like when a guy has one bullet.
Ryan, you got technical difficulties over there?
I don't think so, Jody. I think I'm okay. Uh-oh. Guys in the chat, can you see me? Is it me or is it Jody?
So, hey guys, it's me. Say it ain't so. Canadian weather, right? Yes, school lady boy, what's going on? Hey, you got
Hey.
weather going on over there?
No, I just had to hit reload for some reason. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I went down for a second, but I'm back. You can't keep a good man down. Keep a good man down.
There should be no weather issues here. It's clear. It's warm outside. It's just kind of overcast. Snow on the ground, but I mean, it's Canada.
Okay, what's your definition of warm? We're 32 degrees over here, so.
Well, what's the conversion? So, it's about -10 Celsius.
All right. Well, so, I guess I'll keep my mouth shut.
Warm. That would be, there's definitely snow on the ground and it's not melting. Yeah.
All right. Now, here's a match I want to talk about. The third match on the card was Mindaugas and Justin Bishop. And match 1, Justin took full control. And I'm thinking, oh, damn, it's going to be an easy day. Bishop's going to get the win. Not so fast.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you speak of this?
It looked like there was definitely a strategy with the strap. And whenever that buckle was on Justin's hand, it seemed to be Mindaugas that could control that. What was the final score here? Because this is the one. I left for a brief moment to do a showing and came back.
Here's the thing, and everybody in the chat who saw it, see if you guys agree with me. So, like you said, it was a cat and mouse game, right? And the thing is that whoever had the strap or the buckle on their hand would normally lose. But match 5, Justin was in perfect position because the buckle was on Mindaugas' hand, and Justin's locking up, and he's ready to hit. But when he hit, Mindaugas stopped him. Problem, and then Mindaugas had the buckle in his hand, and Justin struggled to kind of pin him with side pressure. Now I'm gonna say something, and I want everybody to. I'm gonna do something. I want you guys to tell me what happened. Here's Justin here, right, and he's struggling to get the pin. Now, how Justin slid his elbow forward, as you can see, now everything's he's closer and tight knit. Then he could have went for the pin. It just seemed like Justin just went side pressure. Which he, did the first 2 matches in his wins. But for some reason, it's all about adjustments, right? Mindaugas made the adjustment. Bishop, all he had to do was slide his elbow a little bit forward to get that hand close to his body. It would have stretched him out, then go for the side pressure. I think Justin would have got that win. That's just my opinion.
I would love to talk to Mindaugas and find out what the strategy was for that match, because he looked like he mapped it out in his head right from the start. And almost like he, even though he took a couple of losses, it was all part of his game plan. Is that fair?
Yeah. If you want to play the buckle game, it's always I always thought when you do these best of 5s, best of 3s, it's the odd number matches that are the most crucial, right? Match 1, 3, 5, always crucial. If it's king of the table, it's always match the silver bullet, which is match 7, right? So it's always the odd number of matches that are the most crucial. But at the same time, all Justin had to do, once I go ahead and go sideways and I can't keep going, why continue to blow yourself up and do it? If it's not going to work, you got to do something else.
Yeah. And if I'm giving Mindaugas too much credit here, I might be, but it almost looked like in those matches where he didn't have the buckle and Justin pulled him over and pinned him, it could have been almost a baiting game and kind of letting him get comfortable in certain lanes, so that last match where he knew he wouldn't have it, the buckle, I mean, or it'd be on his hand, he could try something a little bit different and adjust for that fifth match. But maybe I'm giving him too much credit in the overall thing here, but I think they both looked really good.
I think, honestly, Mindaugas put up a little more up pressure when he knew he had the strap, because it's hard to go sideways with the buckle on your hand. So I think if you jam up and have a little bit more back pressure and stop the side pressure game, which will happen, like I said, all Justin had to do was just slide his elbow forward, and then, it would have been to his advantage. But, what do I know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? What were our picks for this?
Let's see here. And when we went through this, we didn't have them in the order of actually the matches. So I had Bishop winning 3-1. You had Mindaugas winning 3-1. Mindaugas won 3-2.
So that's a point for me.
There you go. Now then, everybody should know who this guy's name is now. I interviewed him in my hotel room back in April at the Arizona State Championships, and that is one Mr. Adam Warzinski over Bojidar.
Before you go through this one, what were our picks for it?
Let's see. Yeah, we should probably start doing that, huh? So I said Bojidar 3-1, and I'll hope Adam proved me wrong, which he did. And you said Adam 3-2.
And Adam looked like a world beater, man.
I'll tell you what, that guy, and I was concerned because the only reason why I went against Adam, and like I said, I know who I wanted to win, who I thought might win, is two different things, because I was kind of curious to see how he would do on a big stage. Obviously, it didn't matter, and if you saw my interview with him, I had posted over the weekend, his right hand is extremely bigger than his left hand. Yes, it's real. I sat there and was like going, good Lord, and that straight stone look of, kind of intimidating. But yeah, welcome to the big time, buddy. Welcome to the big time.
Yeah. Now there's some guys saying Adam versus Playman, Adam versus Sonev. Sonev is the one that intrigues me the most out of these three. And then Jay mentioned Sasho. Sasho is a little tiny guy. Like he would be really undersized for Adam, I think. But
where's he been at lately?
I don't know. But I think Sonev is the match. But Adam seems to be trying to play that heel role too in his after interviews and everything like that. So,
well, we all need some heel characters, right?
Yeah.
The next match, Oleg Petrenko. He had two matches. So his first match was against Zurab. And, we always talk about when you have guys who have multiple matches in the same day, what it can do to a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we had, 3 guys, maybe 4 guys that have 2 matches in the same day.
Well, yeah.
Didn't always fare so well, right?
We'll get into that one because there was 2 guys that had matches and then had the left-handed match. And the left-handed match was a little bit lackluster, if I'm being honest, because they both looked exhausted. But Let's get into this one.
So Petrenko won 3-0 over Zurab. And I had Zurab 3-1. You had Oleg 3-2. What do you think?
Oh, man. And then who ended up winning? Why can't I remember this one?
Oleg won, beat Zurab 3-0.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was the one where I think, now I remember because everyone was saying John should be sweating in the back. Yeah. It was dominant, man. It was not a close match.
Right. Well, and like I said, it's just, those guys, it's like, okay, here we go. It's about to get real. And, congratulations to Oleg on that match. Just that match.
Yeah.
Next match was a title match. It was what do you think about the titles anyway? The chain link hat, helmet with the whatever that thing is, the
I like
shield.
it. I just wish they would. I like it. I just wish they would get ones that fit the super heavyweight guys.
Right, So the Vit over Daniel God, I can't pronounce his name.
Prokopchik.
Yeah, exactly that one.
Yes.
The Vit took over. He won 3-1, kept his title. Impressive. But now you got to go. Okay, well, who gets to challenge him for the belt now, or I should say, the title? Sorry.
Well, I mean, there's lots of guys that it could be. I mean, you might even see Adam step up into that role at some point.
I love that match.
Yeah.
I think Paul Lynn's too heavy for him.
Paul Lynn might be. Paul cuts weight, so I mean, Paul. Well, we'll talk about him later, but my God.
And yes, Jay Clean, Daniel looked real good in the first round, but as we all know, a lot of people look good in the first round, but then can you sustain that throughout the whole match? And we'll talk about stamina with a certain person down the road later in the show. So the next match. Oh, speak of the devil, right? The next match. Georgie Zuranov versus Wagner Bortolato.
Oh man. Georgie. Second match. Pulling Wagner, left-handed. Wagner comes in and yeah, we're talking stamina. Wagner looks like when he was really killing people, like when he was winning WAF titles,
he was
skinny.
242.
Yeah, he was really, really lean, and he looked almost lanky.
Yeah.
And now he's carrying so much muscle and mass that, and he's not. It looks like his organs are overworked, man. How else can I say it? Like,
dude, yeah, he had more hair than when he was winning WAF titles, but yeah, he was 242. We thought 242 then was kind of big. Not in a bad way, but just to like, oh, that's a big dude. Now it's like going, dude, what the hell, man? I'm like, you're breathing hard, and I'm like, man, that I'm afraid he's gonna pass out, but you were winning WAF world titles. So guys in the chat, hear me out. WAF world titles, okay, at 242. Now, excuse me, 332 now. That's what he weighs, 332.
that is a big guy. Like, man, I don't know. Like, he's okay. Let's just put it in perspective. As an arm wrestler in a super match format, he's going to struggle with stamina for the rest of his career if he doesn't make some changes.
I was literally worried, like, dude. I mean, how much energy does one guy have to, use when they're and all that kind of stuff,
He like the fact that he still dug deep and made a bit of a rally at the end there and almost finished him was impressive. Like, I thought there's no way that that's going to happen, and then he proved me wrong and almost won.
Mm-hmm.
However, who do you put him against now?
You talking Wagner or are you talking Georgie?
Well, Georgie's easier to match up because you just find the guy that's kind of next up in the rankings and you can throw him in there. But where is Wagner? Where do you put him? Where do you put him against?
If you put Wagner against somebody that weighs just as much as he does, it's he's going to wear out.
Yeah, I mean,
because honestly, I think if you put Morozov against him, because he's the left-handed the man now, he's going to kill Wagner. He'll win 3-0.
Yeah, I don't know. But they're going to want to see Wagner again. They're going to want to see him back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I understand that. And not to mention, because I love left-handed pullers, by the way. Now, and I was cheering for him. So, I look at it like this. Not only that, but this is where I start thinking, okay, there were some discrepancies with the refereeing because, as much as I love Wagner, I love his style, I love his energy. Dude got to straighten his shoulders, man. He came in, he was ready to go like that. I'm thinking,
Well,
wow, they're not going to straighten them shoulders, man. I guess the rules are kind of loose,
Well, Cobra called them out during his match. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You letting all these super heavyweight guys do whatever they want with their shoulders, and you're telling me to straighten mine?
Hey, valid point. Valid point.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, and Will, ADK, Wagner versus Michael Todd. Michael Todd's about 245, 250 now. That's not a good matchup.
You need a
Not
super
Michael
heavyweight.
off of that weight.
You need a super heavyweight against Wagner.
But see, the thing is, though, I don't think, honestly, Wagner needs to be a super heavyweight.
Well, he's also not willing to. I think he likes being a big guy, so I don't see him dropping down at all.
When is too big, too big? Because everybody has a different body frame, right? When is too big, too big? Because then you risk, I want to be big, rah, 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 rah. Yes, everybody wants to be the, Jerry Cataract big, or they want to be the Dave Chafee big, or the Levon big. But at the same time, it's like going, what are you sacrificing? Stamina.
Well, that's an interesting point because you have, you take a guy like Corey West, who's arguably like one of the biggest guys for weight, but he can pull. Like he's got stamina. He doesn't get worn out and exhausted like guys. Like Wagner just seems like his muscle mass is what's wearing him out. And that's a tough spot to be in. It used to be, we saw the same thing with UFC fighters. You get the big jacked guy and he'd look good for 25 seconds of the fight, and then the smaller guy would take over.
Right.
Because that mass is hard to fuel.
Yeah. So there you go. The next match, domination, Paul Lynn over Arackley.
That was Paul Lynn. Like, man, what a statement.
And we both said both of us said Paul Lynn would win 3-0.
Yeah.
And sure he did.
I expected it, but I expected it to maybe be a little bit harder.
Well, I mean, like I said, talk about somebody on a rocket ship, right? Because I think now Paul's undefeated in his two East versus West showings. He's undefeated.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, he's going to be up for a title match here pretty soon in whatever class. I mean, Paul shouldn't pull in super heavyweight, but
no.
Heavyweight, maybe.
That's Devin. Devin's the heavyweight champ now.
Yeah, and I don't think we want to see that match just yet. But I mean, building up to that match, there's lots of options.
Ooh, Clerks 93 said Paul Lynn versus Rostam.
Good match.
And then some more refereeing issues. Because before I go to the next match, I like how it was match, boom, boom, boom. Hey, interview, match is over, get to the next one. They didn't spend too much time in between matches. I love that.
And it was still a 6-hour pay-per-view. But there was no real downtime. So, I mean, that's a good part about that. I mean, just the volume of matches is what kept us watching.
Well, there were 15 matches for Pete's sakes. You could probably split that in half, honestly. But yeah, nonetheless, I liked it all. Now, some more refereeing issues. Ryan, I'll let you take it away between the Oleg and Brzezinski match.
Okay, well, my issue is I have some issues, okay? So I want to be fair to everybody. This is not a slight on Engen. This is not a slight on a promoter. This is not a slight on WAF master level referees. Where the miscommunication is when you tell a guy that's used to refereeing at the utmost highest level of strictness and rule following, when you tell them to back off a little bit, but they've never really reffed that way. They say, you tell them to go out there and make it for the audience. Well, the issues you run into is all of a sudden you have in a referee's head who is not trained in that way. They have their own idea of what they can let somebody away with, or they should let somebody away with. And then they have maybe a different perception of what's actually happening, what they should do. Am I going to get invited back if I foul this guy for whatever they might be doing? So where do you draw the line, and how do you get control? And this will come to the last match. How do you maintain control of an arm wrestling match if you don't have the ability or willingness to give warnings and fouls? Because the quickest way, in my opinion, is to bring somebody back in check is to give them a foul for something. Give them a warning, give them a foul. When there are 3 restarts in a referee's grip and no warnings or fouls are given,
Pathetic.
and that should be a foul, you cannot have, if somebody moves in that ref's grip, whether it's taking their hand off the peg and walking away, that's a foul.
Yep.
Rant almost over, but I'll give an example. The Grey Cup, so the Canadian version of the Super Bowl, was last night. One guy almost cost his team the game because he had some choice words for a referee. The second those words came out of that guy's mouth, there was a 15-yard penalty for misconduct. Guy never opened his mouth again, and his team told him to shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm gonna save my because I put it on the thread about the reffing, and I'll save that my comment for the exact last match because it all makes sense to you and everybody in the chat. So I'll just go ahead and reserve that. But
yeah,
Brzezinski, it's like going, need I say more? I mean, this is the guy's the best. This is why he got inducted to the Hall of Fame, you know. So this is what we do, you know. Even with adversity, John overcame that.
Yeah, and John looked really, really good.
Yes.
So he looked good throughout the whole thing. There was some refereeing stuff that he had vocally complained about during the match, but he still came out on top.
Right. Next match, Artem Morozov versus Mr. Rivas.
What can you say? Rivas came in looking like it was going to be his match. And then we quickly found out that that was not the case. So looked good off the first couple of goes and then dwindled significantly. It's amazing how you can pull a guy over and be kind of, you appear to be superior in power to him, but then you kind of like just empty the tank on that first hit and the other guy takes over. And that's what happened with Morozov, in my opinion. He just kind of took over from there. And Rivas is a huge guy, but Morozov, I mean, my God, who's going to stop this guy?
You know how some people with these different, is East versus West an organization? Is it fair to say that?
I think that's kind of England's brand, so I guess you could call it that. Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna say this on record, and you guys tell me if y'all agree. Right now, currently, and this is my opinion, the face of Arm Wars now, as we know it, is Coach Ray. The face of East versus West, in my opinion, right now, is Morozov. End of.
Maybe. We'll see. I think he's not quite there yet.
I just say it because he's been taking care of business on both hands.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, he's the guy left-handed. He showed us the versus Cody Merritt, and then he's still winning matches right-handed. So it's kind of like he's the face right now.
Here's a question for the chat. Morozov, in his interview after the match, apologized for something. What the hell did he apologize for? He was apologizing for something that happened after the last East versus West, or King of the Table maybe, event. He was apologizing for something. What was it?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish.
I asked Michael Todd that during the event. He's like, I have no idea.
Well, I don't know. I might have to dig deep, dig deep.
Yeah.
So intermission, and then now we start getting to the cream of the crop matches, because this match shocked the hell out of me and everybody else. When you have Hermes Gasparini and Dave Chafee, and was this for the interim title? Because it was cool to see Saplankov, entry. Hey, you're the champ now. I'm thinking, I thought Jerry had that title, but are we doing some kind of UFC thing now or what?
I don't know, man.
Oh, okay. So Will said because they didn't pull the 7th round left-handed match, and then Phil Woody said I think he may have criticized King of the Table, talking about Morozov.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
So yes, Marco. So Ingan did say interim. Okay, so now all of a sudden we're implementing UFC rules now, right?
Okay, interim.
Because as of right now, because this, like I said, this is where it gets kind of fuzzy, because if Jerry's the current super heavyweight champ, right, and then Gasparini is the interim super heavyweight champ, then what the hell is Levon right now?
Okay, I gotta ask the question: did Levon even have a match at East versus West?
No, I think all his might have been King of Table.
So he's not even ranked in East versus West.
Right. I mean, we all know he should, but it's like, this is where it gets fuzzy. You see what I'm saying? Here comes the Monday morning water cooler talk. You know what I mean?
Well, he's not part of the organization, so if he came in to face whoever, it would be as a challenger.
It's Flair and Hogan again. Who's the real world champ?
So, seeing how we're on that subject, I mean, the match was, I don't know if it was, I would consider this surprising or not.
So Clerks said Levon is king of the table. So here we go. So you got the guy in East versus West, and then you got the guy in King of the Table. So here we go again. Like I said, it's WWF and WCW, Flair and Hogan, who's the real world champion, 2 different organizations.
Yeah, except in these 2 organizations, they share talent. And you saw Adam Silver up there as part of the production crew for this East versus West event. So definitely there's the match probably is going to happen.
But if you notice, though, the last 2, I want you, Ryan, answer this question, and chat, answer this question. The last 2 East versus West shows, we've seen Alex Cordeca there, but not competing.
Yeah.
So is he a King of Tables guy? I mean, I'm sure he didn't sign some kind of contract because he's there. Last time he was in the audience. This time he's a corner man for people. So it's like he's there, but he's not competing. The only time we do see Alex compete is either in a King of the Table or Arm Wars.
Yeah. I don't know if Alex, where he's at in his training at the moment. I mean, the last time we saw him wasn't what he was losing to Dave Chafee.
Right. Phil Woody, we haven't gotten to Devin's last match yet. We'll get there as soon as we can. We're just going into matches the way they happen in order this past weekend. So, but like, again, it's just with Hermes, I was surprised, not by his domination. I was surprised that I thought Dave would have had more in the tank, but I thought, and it made me wonder, did he take this match too soon? Because Dave threw everything out on the table against Vitaly at King of the Table. And then, by the way, oh, yeah, I'm resting up now. Oh, hey, Jerry pulled out. Hey, you want to pull? Okay, sure. Was it enough time to rest and train or whatever the case may be?
Well, I mean, that might be the case. Maybe Hermes is just that good.
Yeah.
And I kind of think it's that. However, when I saw all of a sudden Dave pulled out that flop wrist press, and he kind of put the brakes on Gasparini a little bit with that. I mentioned this, and Jerry took notice too because he was talking about it
Yeah.
on a post we were tagged in. Um, he was salivating a little bit because I believe Jerry thinks that he can just handle Hermes with his move, and it looks like that could be a tiny hole in Gasparini's game is defending against that press, and Jerry is the best at it.
Right. Brian, do me a favor and highlight the comment from Arm Sports video. My man Scott. Okay. So it says the question he has: what makes the East vs. West World Champion any more credible than any other organization? Good question. What does that?
Well, it's comparing it to WAFR IFA is a tough thing to do. Okay. Let's take WAL out of the equation because WAL largely was North American, right?
Yeah.
But you take it against WAFR IFA, well, one's a drug tested, amateur event with really good competition. The other one is not, and it's, heavily with North America or heavily with international competition. I would say that you could put East versus West champion on par with King of the Table as far as the two champions being maybe close together, Levon being the exception to that, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, because seriously, it goes back to what I said. Are we doing these different organizations? Because now you got two guys who are 1A, 1B in Cataract and Hermes now.
Yeah, and Dan Woodley, you are right. One is a super match, one is a tournament, which, some people consider that to be a different sport altogether.
Well, I mean, with the super match, you got one opponent you got to train for. Where a tournament, you got to train for everybody in the field. It's you versus the field.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
now Legends match: Mr. Cobra Rose and Mr. Haydar. And Haydar looked like a guy, and when he flexed, I was like, "Oh shit! You see the arm of that guy?" I'm like, "Okay."
He looked like his arm stopped aging before the rest of him. Like he looks like a guy that's been training for a year for this match, not a guy that's been training for a couple of months.
Right.
So it was interesting, but Cobra still made a show of it. I mean, it was good. I love seeing him pull again.
It was good to see him pull. I mean, just the intensity, and and he had a point. You're going to straighten my shoulders, but let the other guys do what they want. What the hell? Totally
Yeah.
get that. Way
Yeah.
to go, refs. Way to go. Way to go. But and Cobra's like, you know what? Give me some time to train. But he's busy filming movies, things like that. So
Yeah. Cobra said he didn't grip up with a single person in prep for this match. I believe that. If Cobra said it, I believe it.
yeah, let him train the way he should train once his schedule is clear. Because, like I said, this guy, he got so much on his plate now. His kids are in sports. He's doing movies, so he got a lot on his plate.
Yeah. So that's
Now
Legends.
we got 3 more matches left. In the next match I'm about to talk about, or we're about to talk about, was the shocker the way it went down. Mismatch, right? Sandris and Matt Mask. I'm gonna let you take it away on this one because I don't know what the hell just happened.
Well, I was surprised, and when I saw Matt, show up there, he looked good. He looked big. Um, he looked ready. His hair was looking great. Looked like he had a new lease on life. Forearm was looking all freaky, and the first go he pulled through Sandris's hand and jumped up and down, swore at him, said his hand's going to be going back all night. And Sandris looked not at the least bit concerned, and from there took over. And it looked, man, I'm having I don't want to give Matt a hard time on this one, and I can't. But where the hell is Sanders's power coming from? Because he doesn't look like a guy that should be able to do that to Matt Mask. And he looked like he handled him easily. He did wrist curls with him, for God's sake.
Never judge a book by its cover. And I was hoping this would be the match where Matt's like, okay, I'm back, guys. But it just seemed like, and I said on the show last Monday, I said, you know what? This might be a situation where you don't want to be overly hyped,
And then Sanders just pulled waff. Like, he's basically a natural athlete, let's say. Like, he did that wasn't very long ago. He's the world champ. The coach Ray and Giannis were saying he's around 85%, is what Jay just posted in there.
Ouch.
It's unreal. So the sky's the limit for that guy. I can't explain what happened there. So the question is, I mean, Matt has had quite a few super matches in recent memory, and the only one he has won was he beat Crassie, but Crassie being, admittedly taking a different approach to things.
Proud of him for that, by the way.
Yeah. And he had COVID a few weeks prior to his match with Matt. Like, what the hell? Sanders should have lost this match. Like, so unbelievable. Amazing performance.
Now, where does Matt go? Because now Matt's 0-3 now in East versus West.
I don't know. Because he can't just come back and start pulling lower tier guys because, well, I mean, he might have to. He might not have a choice. But maybe.
Okay, so can I finally make the suggestion now? Okay, can we get Derek Smith and Matt Mask, or does that need to happen on North American soil? Because Derek's 0-2 in East versus West. Matt's 0-3 in East versus West. So does Zingen call those guys back?
See, here's the question here. So does he call them back? I don't know. I don't think Engen wants to do a West versus West match.
Why? He does an East versus East match.
Convenience, though. I mean, you got guys over there in abundance, right? You're going to pay big bucks to have two Americans come over and pull, or an American and a Canadian, sorry. And then you have promoters in the States that will do it. I mean, I already saw that Hancock's putting on the USA versus Canada event in June in Vegas. Why not put Mask against Derek down there?
Right. Or you call Magda. Maybe she can put together another We Are the North and have that match. Or Jeff Frey.
That's already being talked about, the event. So Mask is pulling Irakli. I don't think so. Not after that. Sanders called out Monster Michael Todd.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like going, okay, buddy, okay, calm down.
Yeah. I don't know what you do. I mean, Matt, there's lots of matches for him. He just needs to go start avenging losses. Like, he needs to go after, Wayne Withers, Paul Passmore, guys like that, and just start picking away at those guys that have wins over him in the past. Like, those are all entertaining matches. They're all ones that we're going to watch.
Yep.
Hard to say.
2 matches left, and we'll probably spend the most time on the last one. But the second to last one, that was for a title match. Morozov versus Gasparini.
This one was disappointing in the fact that I think both guys were really tired, and Hermes didn't look like he wanted to be there. He looked like he was satisfied with his win and just wanted to go home. And I think the commentators even said that.
Yeah.
He looks like a guy that doesn't want to be here anymore. He tried, but did he try really hard? I don't think so. Like,
I think the only time he tried hard is match 1. And then when he actually got Morozov over, then Morozov just said nope. And when he did that, it was like, okay, I don't have nothing to tank. Excuse my language, Ryan, or I won't get kicked off for saying this, will I?
It's only in the first 10 minutes you can't swear.
Okay, good. Well, we're 40. We're 45 minutes in, so I think Hermes blew his load. Excuse my French, on the Chafee match, got his title, and was like, "Whatever the fuck happens with Morozov happens. It doesn't matter anymore."
Yeah.
I think that was the attitude.
Yeah. Although Jay makes a good point when he says, I thought Hermes looked better than Merritt on the left.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I think Morozov probably took the Merritt match, like extremely seriously in comparison, having both of them actually having, right-handed matches earlier on the card. Marco says, don't think anyone should pull twice again. Maybe not. I don't know. It's going to be up to Engen. Lots of guys still think they can do it. It really opens you up to a whole list of problems. Like, what if you get an injury on one arm and you can't pull the other one? All of a sudden, a match falls off the card.
Yeah, I mean, in about 19 days, I'll be doing the same thing. Pulling your fellow Canadian Clayton Faulkner left and right. Is that going to damage me? I don't know. We'll find out,
Yeah.
But
coming on the show in a week, by the way.
Yes. Did you get that video I sent you?
I did. Yeah.
Of our 2014 match?
Yeah, I have seen it, but yeah, it's interesting.
So we're a lot different pullers since then. But nonetheless, Morozov keeps his title. And by far, he's made it crystal clear he is the guy left-handed in the supers. So make no bones about that.
Yeah.
Now then, the last match you could talk about, the whole show could have been about this match alone.
Yeah, the whole show could have been about this match alone.
And the first thing I'm going to say, because I've been waiting to say this the entire time, about the reffing. Now, I made a post on there the other day, might have been yesterday, and Josh Grant, good friend of mine, WAF competitor, my thread said something along the lines of this: if you want to eliminate all the other bullshit, then have and we, as arm wrestlers, what do we normally do? Listen to the referee's command. Now then, Ryan Espy, my co-host, everybody in the chat, I want you guys to listen to what I say and give me your opinions. There's no right or wrong answer, but this is where I kind of halfway disagree with Josh Grant. Respect the guy, love the guy. Now, I said that if you want this thing to eliminate all the bullshit and setups, the cadence should be don't move, go. Now, Josh says I kind of disagree because, just line everybody up. Here's my thought. If you're and WAF should know this, and this is why, Josh Grant, you should know this, man. If we are trained to listen to the referee's commands, if the ref says don't move, then goddamn it, you don't move. Because that will eliminate all the fucking false starts in a ref script, by the way. It will eliminate people walking away from the table. Lock up, do not move, shut up in the background, let me ref the match, stop. I don't need to hear all the freaking, and this is nothing against Jody Larrett, nothing personal. I got a job to do. Let me focus on my job, even though you weren't fucking doing your job, referee. I don't need the peanut gallery yelling in this ear. I don't need Devin yelling in my ear, which honestly, some of that stuff was legit, but Devin was doing it too, right? If it's a ref script, we all know what a ref script is. I don't care what organization you're in. I don't care what production you're in. If it's a ref script, you don't move. That's exactly what you do. Do not move. People are still jockeying for position, going like this, doing like that. Stop it. Don't move. Go. Easy. And I may be playing armchair quarterback here, Ryan Espy, but I'm telling you what, there was nothing more frustrating than a fucking match it almost seemed like the length of that match that went 3-0 was the length of maybe about 2 or 3 matches on the actual card because of the setup. Ridiculous.
Well, oh man. Here's where I shift gears here. I'll say this. Devin probably could have won that match, even if they pulled strict.
Hmm?
It probably would have been 3-2. However, there's so much reliance on smoke and mirrors. Like you get your opponent and the referees both so flustered, and it was a goddamn tag team match. So you had basically Randy Macho Man Savage and Sherry Martel screaming from the corner to distract everyone involved.
To distract Earl Hebner.
while Devin is playing his games. Partway through the match, the referee should have kicked Jody off the stage. She can yell from the cheap seats if she wants to yell. That's her prerogative. Being 10 feet away from the referees and screaming so they can't do their job is just meant to give one guy an advantage. That is it. I thought it was, well, gamesmanship, yes. Sportsmanship, no. Disgusting, yep, I did. Why is everyone so afraid to call out certain people on their bullshit? Because they need them? Because behind the scenes, I'll get messages saying I was disgusted by that, but yet the ass kissing continues. And I don't get it. Why cater to one guy who needs to manipulate a rule set to give him an advantage? Like there was rising the whole time.
Yeah,
There was aggressive language and movement towards the referee. That stuff should never happen. There should be fouls for unsportsmanlike conduct in that match. Would it be as much of a show? Maybe not. But we would at least get a pure arm wrestling match.
Two things you said, and the first one I agree. Had it been strict rules, Devin would have won regardless, I think. Because
David, sorry, Jody. Prudnick was not moving more than Devin. If you can see what Prudnick was trying to do, he was trying to wrap based on the rising of Devin. So when Devin baited him into lifting his elbow, then he brought it up. But sorry, Jody, continue.
No, I mean, I think Devin would have won regardless anyway because he's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to arm wrestling. That's all the moves and stuff. So I'm not downgrading what Devin did. I want everybody to understand this because we're live. We're on the show. I am not downgrading what Devin did. I think he would have won regardless.
I do too.
This is where I draw the line. And when I say this, I got the utmost respect for Devin and utmost respect for Jody because we share the same name. Awesome name, by the way. But I'll say this. Ryan, Jay Clean, whoever, had it been one of us doing exactly what Devin did, we would have got kicked out of the fucking tournament.
Yep.
If I was doing that with Dave Hicks, I'd be gone. Ryan, if you did that with Leonard Harkless, you'd be gone. Right? Jay Clean, if you would have done that with Keith Michelle, you would have been gone. Or William Campbell. Doesn't matter. You'd be gone. My whole point is that, it doesn't matter what superstar you are. Like, you don't disrespect the referees like that. And it's like going, this is where the referees need to say, look, we are in charge. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you're the man or some peon. We are in charge. Listen to the referee's command. Okay? Yeah, Cobra said some things, I heard a few things, but I heard Jody the entire time. If I had $1 every time I say elbow, 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 and I heard that, I'd be I'd be buying everybody dinner tonight. Because I'm telling you, it's just like, all that wasn't necessary. It really wasn't. Because like I said, and you said too, Ryan, Devin would have won regardless, I think. But all that didn't matter. But then you got to, every time you have a production like that, you always review what went good, the good, bad, and the ugly, basically. What can we work on? I understand for pay-per-view purposes, you want to see matches. But this is where the arm wrestlers need to say, look, man, you've been doing this for how long now? We all know the referee's in charge, not the pullers. Because if you start fouling people, I guarantee you the puller will listen. He will not do that no more. You say foul, they'll stop. But because you didn't foul them in the referee's grip, they kept doing it, which kept stretching things out. Match 1. You see what I'm saying? Foul. Okay, fine. They'll shut the fuck up and they'll go ahead and get where you need to go. Just say go. I'm sorry. You're in charge, sir. Whatever.
Well, I don't get it, man. Way back, and David, sorry, David. It was strict. Both would have been fouled out. No, David. If it was strict, they probably would have been fouled out of match number 1, and then they would have understood that they can't do it. Now, I think all the way back to Leonard Harkless, he wasn't even refereeing my match, but I pulled Devin Larratt at the Arnolds in 2010, I believe. And he's moving in a referee's grip. He's moving like this. And I'm like, why are you not giving him a foul? I said that to the referee. And Leonard, who was the head ref, came over and pulled that ref aside and said, if he is moving in the referee's grip, you have to give him a foul.
Right.
And then they finally did. But it was, and then he stopped. And we pulled. And that was it. But you can't go softer on the rules. It doesn't work. It doesn't work when guys are willing to take it to such a level that it becomes more about the psychological stuff than it does the actual arm wrestling match. That's just the way it is. And you can call me negative. You can say I'm bitching about stuff. I'm not. I'm complaining about the antics, because every match on that card was fine and could have been called strict with no alteration to basically the result at all. And in fact, both of us agree that Devin probably would have won that match anyway. It just would have looked a lot different.
Preacher Arm Wrestler says, I don't think you can say Devin would have had one regardless, though. And he's a Devin Larratt fan. I just think reason why I said that, Preacher, is because Devin is so multi-talented in each way that I don't think anything Pretty would have done, Devin would have countered it. It's just the way the whole thing unfolded. It was like, it wasn't necessary. Because, look, Ryan, you're an arm wrestler. Everybody in the chat, Jay Clean, David, Preacher, Phil Woody, Macho Man, Russ, everybody, Scott, we are arm wrestlers. The number one thing we do not want to do is lose a match because of elbow fouls. That is the one thing. That is the sucker punch to the stomach. I've done it before, and it kills me. I fucking lost because of elbow foul, not because of elbow foul. I mean, if you do not want to lose like that,
like we all know it. You might as well have flown Bart Wood in to referee that match. Love Bart, but he's more of a master of allowing those little things to happen and being kind of consistent. You can't take a WAF master level referee, and these guys are, and they are, despite what anyone might say, those guys are excellent referees. They really are, but they were asked to do something differently.
Do you think it hurts their integrity? Because if you're known as a WAF, by the way, master referee, does that mean you put your reputation on the line when you do something like this and then you're asked to do something?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I would be curious to know what the powers that be in WAF would think about this.
Because it's almost like asking Earl Hebner, hey, Montreal Screwjob, this is what I want you to do. Dude, I've been reffing for years. I hold my, everything on me being a ref and doing the right thing, and went Montreal Screwjob. You see what I'm saying?
Let's see if you remember this one. They would need to bring in somebody like Danny Davis.
Oh, yeah. Remember him? Nick Patrick.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, I'm not, and Devin earned it, hearing every bit of that. Because again, I mean, once Devin, I mean, there are times where Devin's out here, and then all of a sudden he cupped in, and then he got his shoulder in. That just tells you the kind. He baited Prudnick at some point, but he got to a point, and when I got you, I'm just going to be like a boa constrictor and strict you down. As soon as you exhale, I'm gonna squeeze a little tighter. Exhale, squeeze a little tighter.
It was
and Devin is smart at that.
There was micro adjustments throughout that entire setup. And Devin, oh my God, there's dating sites being advertised in our chat. That's wonderful.
What the hell's going on around here?
Hey, do we have any mods in here?
Somebody take care of that. I'm getting sick and tired of these weirdos coming on our show with that garbage.
All right, got rid of them. They're blocked. Anyway, micro adjustments the whole time. And I don't need to give Devin any credit because he doesn't give a shit what I think anyway. And he's been far more harsh to me than I have to him over the years, let's be honest. But he has become a master of pulling in that style. And what I don't like is that these big organizations have adapted to him instead of him adapting to them.
Is it because of name recognition, reputation? What do you think?
I don't know.
And like I said, it's just I thought it just made that the last match of any card is supposed to be the creme de la creme, right? The cherry on top, the bow tie, call it what you want. And yes, it was 3-0, but it was like, come on, like you got to be kidding me. I mean, and like I said, the referees in the Brzezinski match. And I think that was the first example of what the hell is going on. Why is John starting like this instead of like that? He's starting like this. He's underneath, like already an advantage, and the rest won't do anything. Like, what are we doing here? And if you're a WAF ref, that would have never happened.
Let me throw this at you a little bit.
Okay.
Devin did King's move at one point. So how much? It's like, let's say you're in a UFC fight.
Yeah.
You kick your opponent in the nuts. Statistically, anyone that chose to continue fighting has a 90% chance of losing at that point.
Right.
Okay. So there's some argument whether or not it should be the choice of the opponent. Now, I'm going to compare that to a King's move. So Devin goes into King's move, stops the match. Okay. Match stops. Prudnick is going to be compromised at that point. Devin eventually gets a foul for his arm being in the downward angle outside of neutral. So what am I trying to say here? When Prudnick's surge gets stopped in certain positions and they don't give Devin a foul right away, but lets him surge into it a few times, you have to admit that impacts every start beyond that.
Yeah.
So hesitation to call a foul definitely will impact the outcome of a match.
So there's a chatter back and forth about the comment David put, because it grows the sport. Purists may not like it, but the sport needs some WWF drama and storytelling. Could you highlight that so everybody can see that? Because I'm going to say this. David, to a certain degree, I do agree. But however, you can have that kind of storytelling without all the BS. It's called Arm Wars right now. They actually tell a story, but they don't have all the shenanigans. You don't see people. And if you watch Arm Wars now, with Statham doing the whole thing and Neil Pickup, they tell a story because after each match, they go back to the guys involved and they say a few things. There's your drama and storytelling right there. But not one person is disrespectful to the ref. Not one person is constantly just going off, say go. That's fucking bullshit. But not one puller is doing that.
Yeah.
So in regards, yes, I understand what you're saying, but Arm Wars is a perfect example of excitement, drama, and storytelling without all the disrespect toward the refs. I think that's where I'm getting at.
The refs should be off limits for that. So, I mean, David, you make a point about the sport growing, and it hasn't for decades. Sport didn't grow for decades. Now it has. There's a lot of things that contributed to that, though. It's not just Devin Larratt. It's the Travis Bajents on the shows like Game of Arms. It's the UAWL coming around. It's the guys like Engen who are running these massive events over in Turkey. It's not just one guy. If it is just one guy, then that's a bad business model, because if that one guy goes away, do you think the sport is just going to fold up and be gone again? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we've learned a lot. And in the digital era, we will find the guys to follow. Like the John Brzenks are still around. The guys like Paul Lynn. Like, I will tune in to watch those guys every time.
Well, not only that, but and we'll take Travis for example, since we're talking about him. Hey, if Travis is all but done with the sport, because now he's pursuing other things, he's putting on events now. His son is doing awesome, like in football. Like, we're talking
draft day. Draft in April.
Right. So Travis is not doing nothing arm wrestling related now. And look, the sport is still going strong. Is that the point you're trying to make, Ryan?
Yep.
Yeah. So Travis goes away. And honestly, the stuff he did was funny. I thought it was comical. But at the same time, now that he's kind of phased away from arm wrestling, because honestly, in my opinion, he has nothing to prove anymore. I mean, he's done it all too, right? WAF champion, Zlati Nimrov champion. And he doesn't need to prove anything, right? Done it all. Boom. Wall champion. He's done. Off in the sunset. I'm going to watch my son hopefully have a career in the NFL at the next level. But guess what? The sport of arm wrestling is still going strong.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, did Devin help the sport get over that hump? Absolutely, he did. But all that stuff can be done off the table. Like, all that drama, all that WWE stuff you want, it doesn't have to be right there in the heat of that match, because then it becomes about something else. And that's all I'm saying. So, I'm going to take a lot of shit for all the things I said today. I'm sure of it. But, yeah.
Here, I'll put you this way. When Devin pulled John at King of the Table, did Devin act like that?
I honestly don't remember.
I remember he didn't act like that. When Devin pulled Levon, did he act like that? No. When Devin pulled Michael, did he act like that? No. I meant like toward the referees.
I mean, it's not necessary. I mean, guys tuned in to watch Devin pull a lot of guys. Like the Matt Mask episodes with him on WAL were some of the highest rated ones. And it wasn't quite like it was what we saw last weekend. Even the Saplenkov match.
Right. That was just Devin playing. Hey, I'm okay with that version. It just seemed like, maybe Devin was getting frustrated. Because like I said, there were some points that Devin had. Like, dude, Prudnick is, doing this, walk away from the table. Yeah, it should have been a foul. But Devin, you're also doing the same thing too, though. So, and like I said, the whole thing could have been a lot different. I just never seen that version of Devin act like that toward a referee before. I think that was kind of like, oh, okay. Even though Prudnick didn't say a whole lot, he had a part. It seemed like everybody involved had a part in that made the match like, okay, could have been better. The referees were like scared to say something. So, you can fault them for that. Devin, in his corner, man, where they were just saying a lot where it's like, stop, let the referees do their job. Prudnick was probably the least, vocal about anything. But yeah, he was getting away with some stuff too. So it was just like, Then
we had we have this narrative or this notion that Prudnick did pin him once.
Oh, match one?
Yeah. I never really saw a video that showed it clearly, to be honest.
Why not? I mean, I'm not asking you, but how come they didn't replay that? Because I thought, if you're going to replay something and it was close enough, you thought the refs would have got to, how the refs kind of go, I'm not sure about that. Let me go talk to the refs off to the side and says, what do you think? Or review the footage because, it might have been.
It could have been. Why did Prudnick didn't challenge it? I don't know. Maybe it was given how he reacted after the slip. It might have been a bit of overconfidence.
Right.
But then match 2. Oof.
All right. David says,
It's Matt. I didn't agree with that either, David, to be honest with you. But all the antics leading up to the match, I didn't watch any of it, but I knew it was happening. All the videos they were doing about each other. So
yeah, I don't really care about that. I was only caring because now Devin dropped down in weight class. I'm thinking good because now Devin dropping from super heavyweight to actual heavyweight. Now we got some different matchups for him. You
but
know,
who?
but yeah,
Who?
that would be
Who's the guy?
exciting. I wish Gasparini was now heavyweight, not a super, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So anyway, we ready to move on?
Didn't you have a tournament this
Someone
past
mentions
weekend?
my wife. I'm gonna make him pay. What are you talking? Oh, was that in the? I don't know if that was in the lead up or not. Oh yeah, the balls thing. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you start crossing lines when you start adding people's wives and families in it. That's just like that's an automatic off limits, you know.
Yeah, completely.
So, didn't you have a match this weekend?
I have a match. No, I pulled out of it because I was supposed to pull in a tournament, and then last minute the Georgians aren't coming to TAL. So instead of me just pulling Austin Jaggers left-handed, I am now also pulling Curtis Cameron right-handed.
Poor chop, poor chop.
Yeah,
How you
so
feel
it's going
about
to be
that?
lots of fun. It'll be a good test. I mean, he's the reigning Canadian super heavyweight champ. This will be the first time I've pulled a major event and match with my right hand since the injury. So, looking forward to it.
How do you feel? Because I know that was kind of like ever since that Kradeka match in Arm Wars, right-handed.
I was thinking about that, and I said yes to the match. Of course, I said yes to the match, and but I wish it was 6 months from now.
Right.
But then
Well,
Curtis pulled recently too. Like he's sore from. He said he just pulled the Ottawa Open, so it's we're both going in there. Maybe a little dinged up, and we'll see what happens.
hey, could you highlight David's comment about see how much commotion?
You know what, David? You make the that's a good point. Yeah.
And yes, and David has a point. It's water cooler talk. Good, bad, or ugly. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It grows the sport. He causes emotional reactions, both good and bad. Valid fact. Because like I said, it's Monday morning water cooler talk, right?
Yeah, and you know what? For the ones that say that we're being negative or whatever, complaining, there has to be a counterpoint, or else there is no talk.
Right. You're going to have people who are on Devin's side and people who are not on Devin's side. And, I don't want to go into political, but it's like politics, right? Here's a title. You're on that side of the fence or that side of the fence. And for me, my whole thing is like this. I'm a fan of the sport. The annex, not so much. I mean, it's just I don't care who has enough balls and who's in whose purse and all that bullshit. I can care less. I just want to actually get down to the nuts and bolts of the match itself. Now, that's what I care about. And, everybody in the chat, they can voice their opinion. I don't have a problem with that. I'm sure Ryan doesn't have a problem with that. I just think that, my opinion, half the stuff shouldn't have happened. And I think it still would have been a good match,
Oh, yeah, I agree. It would have been. And, but he's the champ now. And you know what? All this stuff we're talking about, in the end, we have to say thanks to Engen for putting on an amazing event.
Yes.
And he will continue to do that. He did make a comment, though, a post about people sharing the stream. I wish people would stop doing that, especially in a sport that is just starting to get big.
Did someone share it?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see anyone personally, but he made a comment about it. So I guess it did happen. Someone used some video from the event for their own purposes, I guess. I'm assuming.
The good thing about ordering these events from Core Sports is that now, depending on which one you order, you can go back and watch them anytime.
Oh, that's good, because before you couldn't do that.
Yeah, so like I still got King of the Table like 3 and 5 on there still on my account.
The one thing I wish they would change, and this is just a little tiny nitpicky thing, is I have my iPad screen mirroring onto my TV, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching it. But then I got to leave for a minute, but there's people at my house watching it. So I put it on my phone, same stream, right? Because I bought the pay-per-view. Well, it only allows you to do one stream, so it booted the TV off of it. So the people sitting here couldn't watch it.
Oh, wow. Wow. Other than that, well done, Ingham. I love the fact that you had the legends involved. I like the fact that you had Gary Goodrich doing play-by-play to open the event. You saw him in Cobra's corner. You saw him present Devin with the title. You saw Saplinkov present Ermis Gasparini with the title. All those. Was Levon supposed to be there?
He was there.
Why did I miss that?
He was giving out awards, and he was there as a guest.
Maybe
looking huge. There was a picture. Go look at Paul Lynn's Facebook page. There's a picture of him standing next to Levon. If you want to get an idea, we all thought Paul looked big. Go look at that photo.
And now, before we shut this thing down, is it clear to say now? Do we have? And like I've always said, and everybody in the chat, hear me when I say this, that usually after these events, there's always going to be a question mark, right? Number one question mark: who's the real champ? Because now you got 3 champions as it sits. You got English champion, which is Jerry Caderet, and interim champ Ermis Gasparini. There's 2. And then you got the, I guess you could say King of the Table champ, Levon. So if the next one's in February, give or take? Who do you have? Do you have Jerry? Is he going to heal from an injury and go, okay, Ermis, now I want to be the real title for title? Does that happen now?
That's hard to say, man. I don't think you put Levon against the King of the Table champ unless you have a contract with Levon that makes sure he's going to keep coming back.
Well, I mean, honestly, because now Levon's like just sitting on his throne, eating grapes, going, what the fuck? I mean, give me some competition.
And then you got, if you're going to put Ermis against him, you got an East versus East match again. But really, I would rather see Jerry and Ermis first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you put Ermis and Levon, then Jerry's like, what about me? You put Jerry versus Levon now, Ermis is like, what about me? So let's just eliminate the what about me conversation, have Jerry and Ermis go at it. Then we can finally do this, get to the very top. Then we'll go from there. And yes, Dan Woolley, Dennis and John, topic, heating up for February's match. Yep, there you go. Awesome. Phil Woody said East vs. West 6, slated for January 21st, people. January 21st. Arm Wars slated for late March.
Yep.
Arm Gods, January 14th. Just thought I'd throw it out there. So there you have it.
There we go. We'll let Scott close us out here.
Yes, we try to keep it respectful. I mean, the thing is, people, and Ronnie and I know this, you got to have a tough skin. And, the stuff that we say is not personal. We just say it like it is. It's just an opinion based. You don't have to like it, but we're also not just dogging people either. We're not going to say anything that no one else didn't see. So when we talk about Matt Mass getting crushed, I mean, we all saw it. It's not like we're getting on Matt. It's like, I thought Matt would have, shown more. I thought maybe his enthusiasm might have, got the best of him. I don't know. But Matt's 0-3 in East vs. West. I'm not saying anything that's negative. I'm not saying anything that's not true. Okay. Same thing with, Monster Factory, December 10th. Same thing with Devin. I'm not saying anything that's not true. We all saw what happened. I mean, that match could have went a lot better than it did, but the refereeing, could have went better. Ryan and myself is not saying anything that's a rumor. We're not saying anything that's inaccurate. We're just telling it like it is. And sometimes people, sometimes when you make Ryan, maybe you can answer this. It seems like when we host these talk shows, these podcasts, and everyone tunes in to watch, thank you very much. And I hope you guys hit the like and subscribe. That when we do these talk shows, we know we'll get backlash, right? We know that, this is what it is right now. But we're kind of going like this. There's going to be some people who are Devin fans. And when we say things, it may rub them the wrong way. We get it. But we have to look at it and take our hat off and look at it as the bigger picture, So as long as everybody else knows that, then that's, pretty much what we do. I mean, do you care to chime in on that, Ryan?
I think you said it perfectly, Jody.
What you got coming up next, man?
This weekend, so keep an eye out for that. TAL and Austin Jaggers and Pork Chop.
I can't wait. Who's going live with that?
Probably here. I'll probably try to do it.
Yeah, tell the missus to put that up there. I will watch, and she can tag me so I can find out what the hell's going on, because I want to know. And how come nobody's promoting that like they should? What, Jeff Frank, what's going on with you, man?
Jeff Frank. Well, we'll get some stuff out there this week for sure.
If it wasn't Thanksgiving weekend here in the States, I might be up there with you, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Anyway, buddy, I got to run, and it's been a pleasure. And we'll be back here next Monday.
Yes, sir. And thank you very much, Ryan. I want to say, I love doing this show with you. I'm glad, Tom Zink and Rick Martel came together to bring up the Canon Connection. Yes, good luck, my friend. Austin Jaggers left hand, Pork Chop right hand. Good luck, my friend. And we'll talk more about that next Monday. And hope the missus puts it up live so I can check it out for myself. Everybody in the chat, as always, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll be back one more time on Magnificent Monday.
You got her, buddy.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everybody.